There, welcome back to my channel, Elevation Factor, where we put up content designed to uplift and inspire and help you get that even one step closer to your dreams. Today, I'm going to do that by another episode of TransGoogle because it's the easiest to film over the holidays, and also because my energy is a little bit low, and this is something that don't really need a script for because literally my life experience, so it's pretty much all in here. Anyway, today's episode of Trans Google is naming do's and don'ts. And let's get right into it. And before I do, though, I apologize if you hear any background noise. It should come out clearly since I'm using my headset. That's the reason I use the headset, especially over here, where this literally backs up to the street. But this is the best place to film, so oh yeah, naming do's and don'ts. I want to let people know that it's okay if you don't understand that the important thing is the effort and the practice. And the practice is to always refer to a trans person or a non binary person and or an agender person, whoever. If someone has changed their name to make themselves feel more comfortable, you always use that name. And even if that may sound obvious, there's a few things that I find most people do without even thinking about it that can be very triggering for people, especially people who are newly out. And for example, that is when someone refers to their friend that they've known before transition as their old name when talking about stories from before that person told them. For example, let's say you have a trans woman, Cerise, and before she was out, her name was Michael, and they have this friend Jody, and Jody, when talking about something from 6 years ago, refers to Cerise as Michael, saying, Michael really didn't like our philosophy professor, and the feeling was mutual. Oh, the professor really had it in for him. That is not something that most people would think about just going back through their memories, but that is something very important to update because there were two errors there. Do you know what they are? Okay. The first one is referring to Charisse as Michael because Charisse was never Michael. Charisse was going by the wrong name for years. So updating that, even in an old memory, is super important and a great way to affirm Charisse's identity and really make sure that they know that they are supported. And then, even more important than the name, actually, they also referred to Charisse as him in that story, which is very, very wrong because Charisse is a trans woman and was always that woman and just wasn't out at the time. So you still refer to someone by their correct name and gender, even when talking about old memories. And this is a comment that I saw in the support groups that I was advising on because someone was asking about correcting their family when they talk about this and how upsetting it was to their child and wondering if it's okay to correct them or if there's a better even term than correcting, which correcting is the appropriate term because you are updating someone's language and it is okay to correct someone. Obviously, talk to the person in your life if they are old enough to advocate for themselves, if they feel comfortable advocating for themselves, if they're comfortable with you advocating for them. But assuming they are okay with it, you can, and in my opinion, not my advice, should correct people who are misgendering or misnaming you or a person in your life. Again, assuming that person is okay with you correcting for them. Because it is important to update your language so that you are respecting everyone or as many people as you possibly can, because everyone has the right to be referred to by their appropriate name and have their gender identity respected, or any identity respected. But today we're talking about gender identity because this is TransGoogle, since that's what I have experience to speak on. So, yeah, when you're referring to someone, refer to them by their appropriate name. And another context that can come up, like for me, I still actually haven't legally changed my name because the way I live, it's complicated. It is terms of like where I have residency, and the laws change, changing your name depending on what state you're in. So that's a complicated process, but just because I haven't legally changed it doesn't mean I don't want my name respected. And this comes up at work. At work, I still need to register by my legal name. And thankfully, the company I work for now, or one of the places I work for, they are very quick to actually update your name, and they already changed my email within less than an hour of me working for the company. So that has been really nice. And that, though, is another important context. I've had people refuse to call me anything other than my legal name. And this was when I was younger, and even if I knew how to change my name back then, which I sort of did it, and I couldn't afford the publication or whatever the weird laws there were, or that I had to go through. And so that was very triggering. So if you're an employer, a coworker, or someone in an office setting, it's important to refer to your employee by their chosen name and by their appropriate gender identity, so that they feel safe and respected in the workplace, which will not only increase how well your reviews are at the end of the year, but it'll make it a more positive work environment. And if nothing else, I find employees that don't feel like their boss is a dick are far more productive. So if nothing else, respect someone's name and pronouns, just because it'll increase your bottom line. Right, if that's your motivation, I am totally fine with that. Whatever you need to tell yourself, but just get someone's name and pronouns right, because it really does make that crucial difference. And yeah, that's it for today. I hope that makes sense. So, very quick recap. When referring to someone who is trans, non binary, or has a new name and pronouns for whatever reason, refer to them appropriately, including not only in your current adventures, but always refer to them when talking about old stories, even from before they transitioned, to reflect their appropriate identity, which they have now revealed to you. The same goes for if you are in a work environment and someone hasn't legally changed their name yet, but they have changed it socially. Respect that name, make that employee feel respected, so that they can continue to work stress-free, which will just aid everyone involved and create far less drama. So, yeah, respect someone's name. These are just an episode of naming do's and don'ts. If you want more do's and don'ts with your trans, non-binary, gender divergent friends, let me know. Comment below, and I will absolutely make more videos about this. And I will make them after I've gotten a good night's sleep, and not when I am just trying to keep myself on track so that I can keep uploading at the right times. And yeah, but anyway, I hope you guys are having a wonderful holiday season. Thank you so much for watching, and take care. I'll see you next time.